Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch.
White Lotus.
Hey, y'all, hey, welcome to Sisters Who Watch.
Hello, I'm Shelby.
And I'm Laura, and we're sisters who watch everything. TV, movies, sports, concerts, even rich people dying. We love to watch, and we love talking about it even more. Today we're watching
The White
Lotus.
Season 3 of HBO's hit murder mystery thriller comedy series. A lot going on in The White Lotus.
A lot. And before we get into our debrief, there's a lot to get into. Please make sure you're giving Sisters Who Watch 5 stars. 5 stars wherever you listen, please. Rate, download, subscribe, follow us on social media at Sisters Who Watch. Buy our merch on our website. All of that, sisterswhowatch.com. Thank you for your support.
Appreciate y'all. And in honor of White Lotus, I'm dressed like I'm on a Caribbean vacation. I'm dressed like I'm in Thailand. I have a little shawl. I'm ready to go.
I'm wearing a little white if you're watching us on YouTube, but Shelby's embodying Belinda in the Thailand Belinda.
As always, let's start with our background first. So here's the logline for The White Lotus. The exploits of various guests and employees of a luxury resort over the span of a week. First premiered in 2021 and became like a hit immediately, mostly because of Jennifer Coolidge. And it has season 2, which was fine. Now season 3 and already renewed for season 4. So truly a critically acclaimed, buzzy, Emmy-winning hit for HBO.
I mean, Jennifer Coolidge was the star of season 1 and season 2. She was a saving grace of season 2. Mm-hmm. And this is our first season without her, without Tanya. But Natasha and John returned. And Natasha wasn't in the second season. So I was very excited to see her back on our screens. Shelby and I have known about her for a while because, right, fans of Insecure. And she was one of Issa's friends. So very excited that she's getting her flowers and everyone's talking about her.
Yes,
growth, you know. So very excited for her. And wow, I mean, Sam Rockwell had a cameo, a major cameo. Husband of Leslie Bibb. Iconic.
Yes, really such a good cast. And what's interesting is that everyone in the main cast gets paid the same. Like, that's something that most shows don't happen, right? It's like a tiered system, number 1 on the call sheet, all that stuff. So if you want to do The White Lotus, you're not really doing it for the money. You're doing it because you want to be a part of this show, this experience. And I think that's why you usually get people that are like maybe lower tiers, like not A-list, right? Like the Big Little Lies cast, not that level, but actors that have been around a while and that are character actors or up-and-comers who are just so good. Like, everyone brought their game. I feel like the acting in White Lotus is like a masterclass. It's unreal.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a good point. I hadn't heard about how there's no number 1 on the call sheet because, right, it is a cast of characters, of actors that aren't huge stars. And a lot of people I've never heard of, right? The whole Ratliffe family, I had never heard of any of them, right? Like, I had heard of Patrick Schwarzenegger, but like I had never seen him really in anything. So it's refreshing not to see, like Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, like all the, so to have up and coming people or people who have been around but haven't gotten their flowers yet. And people are like, Parker Posey, icon. And I'm like, I've never seen her before.
Had you never seen her? Really?
I mean, maybe, but I just didn't recognize her.
Oh, I recognize everyone, but I think, again, they've been in like niche things, or like, for instance, Parker Posey's was in like a lot of like indie film in the 90s, like Dazed and Confused. So for like a certain generation, they really care about that stuff. And she's been around a while. So I just like know her name and know her face. And then, of course, Draco Malfoy's father, right. Tim Ratliff. So it's like randomly you like recognize people. You're like, oh, you're from that. And I don't watch the Amazon show that Walton Goggins is in, but like I know a lot of people know him from that. He also, it's called Fallout. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like some kind of superhero sci-fi show. So not for us. But he's in that. He was also in Justified, that like kind of, I don't want to say cowboy show, but it was like a sheriff kind of deputy show somewhere in the South. So like I've heard of these people from their various things over the years. Have I watched them in a lot? No. But you just know their names.
Yeah, I know Walton Goggins from the Righteous Gemstones. He's in that show. And I've seen the first couple seasons of that show. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's baby Billy from the Righteous Gemstones.
I can't.
Yes. So I did recognize him. But a lot of the other people, I was like, I've never seen these people before. What were your expectations coming in to season 3?
They were high. This was on my most anticipated list of 2025 and was on yours as well. So we both had high hopes for White Lotus. And it had been a while. Like the last season of White Lotus premiered at the end of 2022, which is pretty insane. Like a
Yeah.
3-year gap. Part of that is the strikes that happened in the summer of 2023, which delayed this quite a bit. But it was time. I miss the White Lotus. It's truly a water cooler show where you feel like everyone's talking about
Yes.
it. Social media is a buzz. You just feel like you need to be watching. And that's fun. You don't really have that anymore these days. So it's been fun the last 8 weeks or whatever, having White Lotus going on. I'm like, yes, Sundays,
Yes.
appointment viewing. We can talk about it. So I was excited for it to come back. And also the fact that it was set in Thailand. Love just seeing like the beautiful settings. Like honestly, seeing White Lotus in 2022 in Sicily inspired me and my friend Priya to go to Sicily the following summer. Like
There we go.
it's beautiful, the locations, and it makes you want to go on vacation.
Oh, immediately. And like Thailand, like I love Thai food, Thai iced tea. Oh my goodness, yeah. And I mean, Thailand has been a destination that I feel like everyone has been going to.
Mhm.
So I feel like White Lotus followed the trend, the Thailand trend. A lot of people are going there. So yeah, I was excited to see Thailand, see like a really cool culture and learn
Mhm.
more about the country. And there were a lot of cool, interesting nuggets, about Thai culture. I think for me, my expectations were high because, right, this is just a show a lot of people really
Mhm.
love, and Mike White has a reputation. But I did not love season 2. I thought season 2 was so boring. Like the first like 6 episodes I did not like. It felt,
Mm.
and I was talking to a friend, we watched the finale together, and she really loved season 2. She loved how there wasn't, a lot of really crazy drama, and how it was a lot about like the personal relationships and the tension and the arguments and stuff. But I really did not like season 2. I thought the finale was great. The gays are trying to kill me, like that when Jennifer Coolidge is like
Season
uh,
2 was blah for like 5 episodes, and then it
yes.
turned up
In the
at the
last 2
end.
episodes, it picked up, and I was just like, "Oh, so the show
Ooh,
started. The show started."
didn't play.
And so I loved the finale of season 2, but I just think the first 5-6 episodes were like a waste of time. So yes, I was excited about this season, but I also was like, okay, I didn't love last season, so let's see if Mike White can bring it back.
And debatable. I think season 3 is a little polarizing, and
Oh.
we'll get into it. Laura, what were some of your favorite moments?
Yes. Well, first, a lot of people. I didn't watch the first couple episodes right away, and everyone was talking about Southern Charm. They're like, "Oh, the Southern Charm references, the Southern Charm inspo," because the Ratliffs apparently are based on Southern Charm characters. This is what the internet is saying, and that Tim's character is based off of Thomas Ravenel. And Parker Posey to me is giving Miss Patricia, Whitney's mom. Shelby and I we're Bravo girls. So when
Yes.
people were like, "Oh, the Ratliffs are based on Southern Charm," I was like, "No way." And I definitely see it. I mean, Tim's voice is very Tom.
He sounds like Thomas.
Yes, he sounds like Thomas, and and Parker Posey was giving Patricia like the hair, the outfits,
Yeah.
like the umbrella, her voice too, everything
Mhm.
about it. So, and Saxon was giving a little Shep. Absolutely. And I must say, the internet loves Victoria Ratliffe. She was a highlight the whole season. She was like,
She was.
"Oh, what do you see in him? He's so much older than you." And the girls were like, "Oh, I love him." She's like, "Oh, I have a great man for you back in South Carolina, North Carolina." And it was just so funny. She was like, "Tsunami." I feel like everyone was saying tsunami because she said it very
He better
funny.
be the best Buddhist in all of China. Whatever she said. I was like,
She was like, "You want to move to Taiwan?"
the most quotable character this season.
Right? She was so yeah, a lot of people are saying she's the breakout. She's the breakout star.
I feel like it's Victoria, Lori, who's played by Carrie Coon,
Oh,
and
yes.
then Chelsea by Amy Lou Wood. Those feel like the breakouts to
Yes.
me. Those
Yes.
three women, I feel like the internet were obsessed. They loved
Yes.
every time Chelsea came for Saxon.
So funny. You have no soul. You're soulless.
Don't forget to bring your brother.
So funny. Drag him. Yeah, Chelsea was refreshing. I did like her. I feel like we were meant to root for her, right?
Yeah.
And
Purposely.
yeah. And also with Lori, I think we were also meant to root for Lori because her other two friends were just so horrible and were so fake and like not keeping it real. And she was the one who was actually calling out what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So she was also refreshing. So yeah, definitely. And I feel like a lot of people were talking about Carrie Coon's facial expressions. Like she had some really funny faces and reactions. So yeah, Lori absolutely killed it.
So funny. And even Leslie Bibbs's face, Kate, remember her fake smile? It was like,
Yeah.
like the memeable moments from this season, there were so many. It felt like the internet was just
So
obsessed
many.
with everyone.
I know. I mean, I don't remember it being like this
No.
for season 2 or 1, right? It felt like every single week, my whole feed was White Lotus. Everything was White Lotus. I'm like, how is this happening? Everything I was seeing online was White Lotus related. Interviews, memes, clips, theories. It was unreal. I feel like it really exploded on the internet. And every single time I went out to any function, event, birthday, everyone was talking about White Lotus. Everybody.
And apparently it kept breaking records, and like the finale was up 30% from like last year. Like
Crazy.
people, it's crazy. Like audience was growing, was crazy on social media. Like people were into the White Lotus this year.
Yes.
They really were.
Absolutely. And I liked how, kind of like how we mentioned before, it felt like, I mean, I'm not Thai or Asian, so take this with a grain of salt, but I did feel like we got some authentic pieces of Thai culture. At least that's what it felt like to me. And there was a lot of dialogue in Thai, which I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like with the subtitles, they had like the Thai symbols like right behind it. And I thought that was really cool. And Guy Talk and Mook, I just loved every time Guy Talk and Mook were on my screen. Like, and the memes about Guy Talk, oh my gosh, the internet was just dragging him. Like, why is Guy Talk so bad at his job?
It's because he's a Buddhist with a soul. It's because he didn't want to kill anyone. I guess maybe it's a hot take. I didn't really like their relationship. I liked Guy Talk a lot, but Mook was an awful influence. Lisa was like, why don't you want to kill? Why don't you want to be a security guard? Why don't you want to know how to use a gun? Like, they'd be on a date, and he was like, yeah, I don't know if I want that job. And she was like, oh, I'm going to leave.
She's like, you need to be strong.
She's
you
like,
need to be
I'm not free anymore. Bye. I'm like, Lisa, Mook was not a great partner.
I do
whatsoever.
agree with you. I do agree. I don't think they're not my favorite monster because I like them as a couple. Like clearly, Lisa did not like Guy Talk the way he was. You know, she absolutely was trying to change him.
that man.
But I just loved their scenes together. It was just so funny. Lisa, because you could tell Lisa just wasn't really into him that much.
No.
But Guy Talk just kept on being like, Mook, 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 Mook. And every time, Mook just dragged Guy Talk being like, you need to be strong. You need to be a man.
I felt bad.
I felt bad too, but I just thought it was so funny. I loved their scenes. And my friend told me about this video. She was like, have you seen this video of Guy Talk singing? I was like, what? Because Lisa is a very famous K-pop singer. And I had heard of Lisa. And I didn't realize that she was on the show. Like, I watched the first episode. And I was like, oh, that's Lisa from Blackpink. And I remember hearing people being like, oh yeah, like I thought they were dubbing Lisa talking in Thai. But then, right, we find out that she's actually Thai, which is wild. I mean, this is a huge gig for her. Because
I had no idea. Like,
yeah.
For a K-pop singer to be on a show like this, crazy.
Huge. perfect casting, right? Because you get all the Blackpink fans,
Mm-hmm.
and right, she's actually Thai, so she can like speak the language, and but also draws in all these people. So I loved seeing Lisa as Mook. But Shelby, there's a video of
I
Guy
saw
Talk
it.
singing. Yes. And he's singing No Diggity, and he's wearing like shades, he has a buzz cut, he's like all swagged out. I could not believe my eyes.
He was great. Talk about social media being on fire. The press team for White Lotus, all the videos, the content. I ate it up.
Right?
4 plus 4 is 8. Eat.
And like Guy Talk in the show was just kind of like this goofy character. And then seeing him in real life, I was like, whoa, he is not this quirky little quirky guy who doesn't know how to do anything. So I just thought that was really interesting. I also the whole full moon party episode, that was crazy.
That's when
And
it started to turn up.
that's because the first few episodes, I think there were a lot, like we talked about, there was a lot of different characters and storylines. So I was engaged and entertained. But when the full moon party, right, that really turned things up. And like Mook was doing her dance and she was in that gorgeous outfit. I was just like, oh, Lisa, so beautiful. Loved that.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it was like you said, to see what seems like our like traditional Thai like holidays or events. Like it was cool to
Yes.
like see that, and it was so beautiful, all of them on the boat. And it was also, I think, funny early in the day. That was when Jacqueline and the girls got in that water fight.
Yes. I was literally about to say. And apparently that's another real Thai event. Like kids will like storm the streets and squirt water guns at people. And they were like, oh, ah, ah, oh, oh my gosh. Did your mother know you're here? Oh my gosh. Show some respect. Like all this stuff. It was so funny.
And Jacqueline had an Erewhon bag for people in LA who know, they know.
Yes.
Walking around Thailand with an Erewhon bag, like scared of getting shot by water guns. You can't. Like the costume design team, they knew what they were doing.
Yes. And also them being so offended by being at like an old person's resort.
Yeah, Valentine recommended them go to that resort, and Jacqueline in particular was insulted beyond belief.
I was like, girl, calm down.
It was a little dramatic, but if I was like a 40-something-year-old woman thinking I'm like young and vibrant, and I was recommended by a young hot guy to go to like a 60-plus resort, I'd probably feel some type of way too.
So crazy. Oh,
Wild.
Jacqueline. Yeah, that was the whole full moon party episode. The ladies getting soaked by the water guns. Fantastic TV. And the yacht with the brothers and just chaos. Chaos on chaos on chaos.
It also just, I loved the like set design.
Yes.
Like Greg's house, that house up in like the hills, whatever, in Thailand, their yacht, stunning.
Right.
I can see why, you know, Greg took all of Tanya's money and is hiding away in Thailand, if that's how he's gonna live.
I mean, I don't, right? It doesn't seem like a bad gig at all.
No.
I also really like Sritala, the owner of the resort. She was just like so fabulous and just like walking
Yes.
around. And she's like a real life Thai
Yes, Thai icon.
performer.
Mhm.
Yes, and celebrity.
Like the old school video of her performing they showed was real.
Loved it. I was like, and I could tell. I was like, oh yeah, that's a real video. That's real. Loved her.
Crazy. Yeah, so to your point, I think from what I felt, good Thai representation, like that we actually saw Sritala and Mook and Guy took like quite a bit. It felt like they were on screen a good amount, which was nice.
Yes. And they were really key parts of the plot.
I agree. The Hawaii one didn't really have that many Hawaiians.
No.
And then Sicily, like, remember the like manager? She was like,
I felt like
dealing with her sexuality, right?
Yeah.
And trying to find love, and
yeah, but it felt
wasn't
like
fleshed
I don't
out.
know. Yes,
It was
I
not
feel like
fleshed
the Sicilian characters are a bit more convoluted, not as central but driving the plot forward. But like, right, Guy Talk was driving the plot forward. Like Sritala and her husband, like driving the plot forward. I felt like they were really incorporated into the storyline. So I did love seeing them getting a lot of character development. I thought that was really great. And what did you think of course, we're so happy to see Belinda. I mean, I'm so happy for her, Natasha Rothwell, like really getting a shining moment. And her son. Did you recognize him? You know where he's from?
All American. No?
No. It's close. Same vibe of a show.
I don't know. Tell me.
He was on Bel-Air.
Oh.
Remember he played like Lisa's boyfriend-ish, and he was in the
he was
BSC, and he was kind
annoying.
of annoying.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was like a villain. Yeah.
I immediately recognized him. I was like, oh my gosh, that's an annoying guy from Bel-Air.
That's so funny. I did not.
I recognized him. And I was
pick
like,
that
this
up
is a
right away.
huge role for this guy. Good for him. Good for him.
I know. Part of me though, I was like, is Belinda that old to have a son like that? But
I also was thinking that. I was like, this guy's like
disbelief. He's
I know,
like a college student.
Yes. I was like, he was giving early 20s. And I'm like, how old is she in real life? Like 40?
Yeah, she's like 42. So I was like,
I also thought that. I was like, he seems old. Maybe he was like 18, 19, but I'm like, still, like she maybe has like a tween.
When Belinda is like getting trained and like kind of has her Stella got her groove back moment. What's his name?
Porn Chai.
Loved that for her. I was like, yes, Belinda, get that nice massage, find a little boo thing, but also find a potential business partner. Great. Check.
Yeah, he was great. I liked Porn Chai. Attractive.
Great.
Seems like a great guy. I was very much into that storyline.
Team Porn Chai.
On to our least favorite moments, I guess. Oh my gosh. There was a lot. So the full moon party episode, the boat, so Gary's, new girlfriend, she was a hot mess. What was her name?
She was French Canadian.
Yes. Model, very tall, very skinny. Yeah, she was something. I did like how Chloe. I did like how Chelsea had a friend because, oh my gosh, Rick was just treating Chelsea like garbage this whole season. And Chelsea finally, had another young, hot woman to talk about their older men, complain about their older men. And yeah, Chloe was such an interesting character. What did you think about her?
I didn't really understand why she was with Greg beyond the money.
No.
And it also just felt like she didn't have much going on. Like she was like, oh, party girl who was with this older man, but also wanted to like play around by sleeping with Saxon and Lock-In, and like I couldn't really figure her out, to be honest. And she didn't have as much of a backstory as the others. Like she was clearly a supporting character.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like she was just there to stir the pot. Mm-hmm. And that was it. Yeah, so when she invited them on the boat, I was like, this is going to be bad. And then Saxon and Lachlan are like, oh yeah, like, let's go out. Just Saxon also in general, Lisa moment. Toxic man the whole time. He got a little redemption towards the end.
Some people are saying he had the most redemption, which from the beginning to the end, I can see it. He did change. He evolved to like a degree.
Yeah, because he started at 0.
Yeah, so I can see why negative. It's such a big
and now shift. He's like at 5 out of 100. You know what I mean? So I guess he evolved upwards. But yeah, Saxon in the beginning was so hard to watch, and seeing him kind of like emasculate his brother was weird. And being like, you gotta be a man, you gotta do that. And also the way he talked to his sister Piper and just belittling her. And I just really did not like him at all. But on this boat and drugs, Saxon was like, Saxon doesn't do drugs. But Chloe gets the boys to do drugs. And then chaos ensues. And we get a little incestuous moment.
Yes. I could see it coming. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was talking with some friends and we were like, what's going on with the brothers? Like before this had happened, the way Saxon would just sleep with his like naked and his blankets up so his brother could see, the fact that he would just walk around. I'm like, is that how men act? Like the way that they were interacting with each other around like being naked and their parts and just kind of teasing. I was like, you guys are a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And he like wouldn't close the bathroom door, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I also sensed just something's going on. Did
Something
I
was off.
actually think, incest would happen? I don't know. But something was off from the beginning between them.
And Saxon clearly did not expect it either. Whereas
No.
Lachlan was like, I'm a pleaser. I'm just trying to please
Oh
you. You were by
no.
yourself. And I was like, ooh, this poor boy. Someone help him.
Oh no, that was rough. Because it was interesting, right, in the finale, how he was explaining and defending why he did that. He was just like, yeah, I'm a people pleaser and you were struggling and I just wanted to help you. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that out loud. That's
So you
crazy.
realize maybe Lachlan's the problem. Like, you
Yes.
think Saxon's the problem? Actually,
I think that the boy has been traumatized and just in this clearly toxic family. And I think he's just, I don't know, clearly something is wrong with him. And I think it's probably a nature versus nurture. Nurture is like the people around you and your environment, impact how you are. So I think it's a nurture thing. I think it's a bit of both, but I think being in his family has not helped him finding his sanity.
no. Definitely not.
No.
And then the fact that even his sister was like starting to get freaked out that he wanted to stay in Thailand with her at that Buddhist like temple. She was like, why would you
Yeah.
want to stay?
Yeah.
Yikes.
That was interesting.
He was clearly coming on a little too strong. And I think trying to please, but almost being like needy. Like,
Yes.
needing your siblings so much. It was like, okay, you gotta be your own person, my guy.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, he's so giving younger sibling behavior.
Laura, do you feel represented by him?
No, I do not. And something else, what did you think of Fabian, the manager?
First of all, the fact that is the same actor from The Zone of Interest.
Crazy. You sent that to me and I said, ain't no way. Huh?
That is wild.
Wild.
Props to him. I was really impressed. Clearly he has range because very different characters.
Yes.
I thought he was fine. He clearly was a little awkward and trying to just be there for his boss, Shritala, and also like be there for all the guests and couldn't really figure out what he wanted, but he finally did perform, and that was exciting for him. I don't think he was as good as the other performers, but I'm glad he finally got his moment.
Yeah, something seemed so like off about him, Like I couldn't place my finger on it. And I guess we never really got that clarity either. We didn't get much of his backstory.
No.
But the way Belinda came to him and was like, oh my gosh, this guy, Gary, something's off with him. I know him. We should call the police. And the way that he immediately was like, he's a guest and we can't be talking about guests this way. I think you need to calm down. And it's like, Greg is not a guest. He has his house. He just goes there sometimes. It's like, huh?
So funny. Clearly showing the priority. Like, to your point, even though Greg's not an official guest, and actually Belinda was a guest, Greg has all the money. He has all the power. That's someone you want to cater to, not the black masseuse intern.
No, I know. That scene annoyed me.
That's commentary, that's for sure.
Yes.
I'd say something else that it's hard because I feel like the girls, like the three best friends, kind of like fighting and bickering was entertaining, but also I was like, should y'all be friends?
No.
Like, it reminded me of one of them days with like Drew and Alyssa. I'm like, clearly,
do y'all like each other?
You guys aren't the best of friends.
No.
Let's figure this out. So that was my only thing, watching their back and forth. And it was funny how when one was with the other, they would gossip about the other one. And I was like, oh my gosh.
So toxic. And the commentary about them online has been interesting. Some people are like, oh, well, are they like really, really that toxic? Like, don't most friends talk about, say these things to each other behind their backs, yada, yada. But I don't know, especially Jacqueline. Something about Jacqueline, she just seemed the most unhinged. And the fact that, right, she kept on talking about her fiance. Oh my gosh, my fiance, da da da. And she's right, like, oh my gosh, Lori, like, you're in Thailand, like, you gotta have some fun. Like, Valentin's into you. Valentin likes you. You should do something with Valentin. And then she sleeps with Valentin?
Tough.
Huh?
Really
And then
bad.
then they gaslit Lori into thinking she was overreacting. That made me crazy.
That was tough. I feel like, again, like, because Jacqueline's the actress, she's the one paying for the trip. I think
Mm,
Leslie Bibb's character Kate was catering to her a bit more
right.
and more willing to let things go, even though she's the one who told Lori that Valentin left Jacqueline's room. She's the one who said it, and then all of a sudden she's defending Jacqueline. That's not the big of a deal. It's like showing the priorities, and who has more of like a say. So I felt bad for Lori, and then of course, like, she gets annoyed, decides to leave them, go to the boxing ring fight on her own, and sleep with the other guy who ends up asking her in bed for money because of his sick mom, or trying to, get his mom to fly to him. So he's like, PayPal, Venmo. And then his girlfriend
Eee,
storms in and she has to jump out of the window and have like the worst walk of shame home. I
what a
was like,
mess.
Lori, what a bad trip for you. Your friends are coming for you.
Can't
You're
catch a
trying to
break.
have like a fun fling, not fun.
No. Ugh. So bad, yeah. She could not catch a break. Yeah, and I feel like there were I feel like I will say Mike White. There were a few kind of loose ends that didn't get tied up, right? I mean, the Russians were sus, right? Like there was something off
Annoying,
about
yeah.
them. And so at the fight, Guy Talk recognizes the Russians and are like, "Oh my gosh, those are the people who broke in and stole the jewelry and hit me in the head with a gun." And so I guess like what's going to happen?
Guy
Like
Took just decided. It's interesting. He was given choices in the finale, right? He decided to not turn the Russians in because Valentine was like, "We'll be deported if you do," and I think he felt bad. But
mm,
then, when given a choice at the end and like whether or not to kill someone, he did decide to kill. Somehow, these Russians are getting away with a crime.
I mean, what's new?
Again, in the commentary, I'd
I know it's
say
always the Russians. It's always the Russians.
another moment I didn't love and then had to like rewatch because I did not understand it was the Sam Rockwell monologue. I must have zoned out because the next day everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, the Sam Rockwell monologue, him talking about wanting to be an Asian woman and wanting to like sleep with himself and just all this stuff." And I was like, "What?" And we were talking and I was like, "Oh, I must have missed it." Because I was seeing all these memes and things. So I rewatched it and I was like, I was literally so confused the whole time.
Because I remember, I think we were recording an episode. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Shelby, the Sam Rockwell monologue," and you were like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Did you not watch
I
the
mean, I did
episode?"
watch, but clearly what he was saying didn't like hit me.
Yes, I remember sitting in my bed being like, "What is he talking about?" It was so bizarre. And the Walton Goggins face that became a meme. He's like staring blankly at us. That meme is so funny. Wow, that was wild. People were like, "Give Sam Rockwell an Emmy just for that speech." Yeah, I agree that it was a favorite and least favorite moment because
Yeah.
it was iconic and everyone was talking about it. And I was just like, Mike White, what is in your brain? Why are you writing this? That
I
was
listened to
so
a
bizarre.
podcast and apparently Mike White was like high when he wrote most of this show. And that would make sense. Like I think he was tripping and that would all check out because none of it made sense.
No,
You have
I'm
to be
like,
on like another level to
yeah,
have that
no
in your
normal
mind.
brain would
No,
think to write something like that. I was like,
definitely not.
huh? So bizarre. Sam Rock and poor Sam Rockwell. He went through a whole roller coaster this season. Uh,
And it's all Rick's fault.
It's all Rick's fault. Rick was just a major least favorite moment. Every Chelsea and Rick scene, every time Rick was on screen, I was just like, this man is horrible. The whole snake situation, he let a bunch of snakes loose. Oh, this man was clearly dealing with a lot of demons.
He needed therapy, and Chelsea signed him up for that stress management thing that he just didn't want to do. But he clearly needed help.
I know, a lot.
Because of that, I'm trying to figure out what Chelsea saw in him. But because even like Sam Rockwell, he like convinces a friend that is sober now and like has, you know, a Buddhist and all these things to lie because he's angry about this guy that ruined his life and killed his dad and took away from his mom. So he's like has this scheme to like kill this man. And then he has Sam Rockwell pretend to be like a director to distract Stratala. And then afterwards they like party and get Sam Rockwell drunk and just sets the poor guy back.
I know, after him being sober. That was so bad. Sam Rockwell's character did not have a great trajectory. All because of Rick. He was like, why do you need a gun? Why do you need a gun? Like, huh?
But
Rick?
Did you keep at the end, like, Sam Rockwell in the temple praying again?
Yes, I did. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, okay, he's back.
Hopefully he's okay. He's bounced back.
I know, because I was like, I hope this doesn't just send him down the spiral again. Because I'm like, huh? But yes, I did peep that. I was like, okay, good. That makes me feel better that he's not just drinking himself away.
I will say another weird moment that I did not understand was Greg's, like, fantasy. Remember? Chloe's like, Saxon, yeah, will you just stay because Greg likes to watch people have sex because he, you know, enjoyed watching his parents have sex as a kid. And I was just like, this show is off the rails. What is going on?
I know, that was giving Sam Rockwell monologue.
Literally, Laura, I was like deja vu. It was like,
I know, that was so bizarre. I was just like, girl, please. Oh my gosh, Chloe. Yeah, like, that was so bizarre. And
Chelsea's face that whole time. She was like, her eyes.
Chelsea! I mean, and also the Ratliffes, what a disaster that family was.
The fact that we haven't talked about them
the
that
dad?
much, the dad is crazy.
Because we find out basically like the first or second episode that he's getting sued, he might go to jail, like all this stuff. His like they're losing all their money.
Financial like turmoil, something illegal being investigated, all that.
Yes, a lot of people were comparing them to like the Schitt's Creek family. And how Rich had everything, and now all they have to their name is some joke motel. And I just thought that was funny. But yeah, like, oh my gosh, the dad, what a disaster. He was a least for a moment. Like, the lorazepam, he stole his wife's medication. The entire time, I was like, how is no one in the family clocking that their dad is like high and delusional, drugged, falling over, his face is like droopy? How is no one clocking this? That's
the
not
fact
normal.
that he went from I don't do drugs to downing lorazepam the whole time.
I'm like, how is there any pills left in that bottle?
Crazy. Clearly Victoria had a heavy prescription.
Victoria, the dad was so bad.
What did you think about him wearing a Duke shirt so much and Duke being upset?
Yes, I saw that headline. Duke was like not happy that he was rocking that shirt while he was hallucinating killing his family. Not good. It was giving remember season 1
with the Cornell?
And yeah, Jake Lacey's character had a Cornell hat. I remember people on campus, I was in college at the time, people were talking about it being like, this is bad Cornell representation.
I know. I think it's kind of funny. I mean, I guess the Duke thing's a little different. It's not like Jake Lacey was
serious
trying to kill his family. But I think, I don't know, any press is kind of good press if you're like having fun with it. Like half the time Cornell is the butt of jokes, but at least people are learning about Cornell, whether it's like Andy from The Office or Jake Lacey from White Lotus.
Right, exactly. It's like, yeah, Duke, you're annoyed, but it's like the whole season they're talking about Duke UNC.
Yeah, the amount of people probably looking up Duke UNC. Yeah, it's really good.
Right. So yeah, it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. The dad stole the dad was on one the whole time. He stole Guy Talk's gun. I mean, Guy Talk, the way he just sat that gun
that was Guy Talk's fault.
Like,
that should be locked up 24/7.
and he just left the door wide open, the gun in plain
Especially
sight.
after someone had already broken in. It's like guy talk.
Security guard of the year. Yeah, I was like, guy talk. But the fact that he stole the gun was crazy.
That was really bad.
And Joey, the finale was actually so hard to watch. When the dad was like, "Oh, you were telling me about these fruits," to like the Australian lady. She was funny. And the dad at first didn't want to give away the phones, and he was like, "No, take the phones, take the phones."
Because he didn't want to keep hearing about how he's getting taken to prison. He's like, no more
So
legal
funny.
issues. Don't want anyone to find out.
Yeah. And the fact that he was like, "Oh yeah, those fruits. What about them?" And she was like, "Yeah, they're called suicide fruit." I was just like, and the way he was like picking all them up and ripping them off the trees and then ripping open, I was like, this is a lot. And the fact that he blended up all those seeds, he was like, pina coladas.
A lot of people were saying it was a little almost too dark. Like this guy was literally poisoning his whole family.
I also was like, it was a bit much. I was like,
I was getting nervous.
It was very dark. I was like, Mike White, this is a lot. Like seeing him ask for the pina colada mix, making the pina coladas, and then handing it to everyone. I was just like, why? This should not be happening.
And then he's like, changes his mind. The coconut milk is bad.
Oh my gosh!
It was like they had already taken a sip.
They were drinking. They were drinking it. Because we didn't even know, like, is it one sip of this? Yeah. Just a little piece? Like, it could be immediately poison. Like, you already went too far, bro. You already went too far.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a lot. And also, like, yeah, I agree. I think that was a bit too dark. Like, I don't think we needed to see him making his family pina coladas. And I literally called this when we were watching the finale. I was like, oh, remember he asked Lachlan, like, oh, can you see yourself living without money? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, he asked him that to see if he should spare him. I literally thought that immediately.
Isn't that crazy? And like, even he was gonna spare his daughter too until she came back from the retreat and like, I guess I am a spoiled girl. I want nice things. I want air conditioning. The food wasn't seasoned.
She's like, I just don't think I could eat this food every day. And the mattress, it had like stains on it.
And Parker Posey's so happy.
She was like,
she knew
hugging her. So funny. I know, and I was like, oh no, death wish.
Girl, you should have kept your mouth shut.
Death wish. Yes. Yeah, the dad. That was rough.
The second he didn't clean out that blender, and Lachlan has been trying to be like his brother this whole time, and Saxon's like, you gotta be a man yourself. You gotta make a smoothie.
You gotta make your own protein shake. I'm not gonna make it for you. Oh my gosh.
I felt sick. I was like, not Lachlan about to die because he's trying to be like his brother, and his dad was irresponsible.
This is what I'm saying. I think Lachlan is just a product of all these horrible, toxic people in his family, right? He was like, okay, I guess I have to, like, his death sentence was because he felt pressure to make protein shakes from his brother, and because his dad was trying to kill everyone. And, like, that's, I felt like...
actually, like, so bad. I was like, no.
But also...
I didn't like the fake out.
No. The fake out, obviously, it would have been very dark if Lachlan died, but I also was like, of course he didn't die. Like, really, Mike White? It felt a little too perfect that he just came back.
Yeah, all of a sudden, after being down for no so long, like it's like a soap opera.
I know. He was probably out for at least 5 minutes. At least. Yeah, but also, Lachlan, I'm trying to offend you, but who doesn't clean out a blender before using it? That was sitting there for 12 hours from the night before. I literally, when he started putting the stuff in the blender, I was like, that is so disgusting. That only an 18-year-old boy would do that.
It's giving young white man. Yes. That's what it's giving. It's giving young white man. I'm in a frat house. I don't know how to clean. I don't want to clean.
Rinse out the blender. I
need my protein shake. On the finale, I will say, I did not love Lori's monologue. And I know some people did. Where she was like, I'm just so like upset and I'm not happy and this has been an awful week and I like your face, I like you, and I'm just glad to be in this moment. Some people loved that.
That doesn't give me meaning. Time does.
Like it felt like almost he was trying to be preachy and like have like a big kind of like moment. It felt a little forced to me. And it also felt like a 360. All of a sudden, Lori is like kind of saying how much she loves Jacqueline and Kate after they've been like so bitchy to her this whole time. It just felt like unearned, or like I was like, no, Lori wouldn't say that. This character we've been getting to know, it felt very forced. So I didn't love that.
I just made a connection. Lori's kind of like Miranda from Sex and the City.
I was really about to say Miranda wouldn't say that.
No, because it made me think of right, and just like that, and like that's like Miranda isn't like that. Miranda wouldn't do that, and it seemed like Lori wouldn't just say all those things after these women have been so horrible to her.
No.
Yeah, that speech, it didn't make sense to me. I was very confused by it, and I think that in the finale, right, you see a lot of people just abandoning their morals. You know, that was kind of the theme, right? Like they were sticking to these things the whole season, right? Lori was, you know, this badass mom and worker and corporate girl, and she stuck up to her friends all week, being like, you're fake, you're this, do. And all of a sudden she's like, I love you guys. Like, just being here and the time we spent, like, it just means so much. Time gives me meaning in my life. I just didn't understand that, right? And of course, Belinda, you know, what did you think of her? She was like, I'm not taking money from Greg. I'm not taking money from Greg. Greg offered her money to not spill about Tanya, but her and her son negotiated, and she ended up taking the money.
To be fair, going from 100K to 5 million, pretty impressive. I'm with her son. Like, if you're gonna be bought off, you better go big.
Be $5 million.
Yeah, it better be big, especially once you do your research and find out how much money this man has. So I appreciate that kind of hustle and realizing, like, oh, if I'm gonna do this, let me do it right. But it was, I think, sad because Belinda was supposed to be like our moral compass.
Yeah.
And for her to kind of turn in that way, I was happy for her because, like, she's lived a hard life. She's suffered murders at 2 White Lotus resorts. Like, she survived 2 attacks. So, and she's someone who's just been around all this wealth. And I think for her to finally kind of experience it, I was happy for her. But I was like, dang, what does that say about the human condition? Like, what does that say about people? Like, so many times we rather choose money than go like the hard way and the way of like the truth.
I know Belinda really did a 180, right? And similarly Piper, right? She was like, oh, you guys are so materialistic. We just need the simple things in life. I just want to be Buddhist. I am Buddhist. Remember, she was like, I am Buddhist. I want to live here for a year. And then after being there one night, she was like,
quick change of tune.
Like, no AC. And I was like, girl. And then, of course, Guy Talk. He did a major switch up on his morals. Okay, so the shootout.
To talk about the shootout.
Yeah, so the shootout, it's teased in the first episode. We see Belinda's son in this meditation session, and then we hear gunshots. What were your theories?
I will say I predicted our fan favorite Chelsea was going to die because she said bad things happen in threes. She survived the snake bite. Right. She survived the break-in, robbery. There was a third thing coming. Like, I just felt like something was going to happen to her, especially this clown Rick doing what he did and then coming back to the resort owned by these people. Like, the math is not mathing. So I did not know how it would happen, and I felt nervous for Chelsea, especially when her and Rick have this perfect breakfast, and she's like, yeah, I just want to be with you, and she was like, yeah, the plan forever, and she was like, oh my god, Rick, really? She jumps in his arms. She's like, I was happy in that moment for them, and I was like, this is too good to be true.
No, it made me sick. I was like, Chelsea girl. This man. Yeah, that's.
Who did you think was gonna die?
So I didn't have a strong idea. Some people were saying the youngest brother. A lot of people were predicting Lachlan. Is it Lachlan or Lachlan?
I think it's They called him Lockie. I think it's Lachlan. I
Same-
don't know.
same thing.
Lachlan, these
Right,
names.
Lucky. So because there was like a moment in the first or second episode where he's doing like cryotherapy, he's like in the water. And I guess this did kind of happen, but people were like, "Oh, that's foreshadowing. He's gonna be the one floating in the water." And I thought that was interesting. I mean, and he did fall into the pool. No,
He
but no, he
didn't.
didn't. But that we see the vision of him.
It was supposed to be like him in
like getting close
limbo
to
or
death.
heaven.
Yeah.
What do you call that? That limbo thing. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so right. So I guess we did see him with that water motif. And it was interesting how when he was, in that in between, he saw like 4 Buddha heads. Wasn't that so interesting?
He comes back and is like, I think I just saw God or something.
Mike White clearly was high when he wrote this. Because I'm like, what? Because remember the dad was like, what happens when you die? And then Lachlan sees 4 Buddha heads. Like, what? Yeah, it's so interesting. I didn't know who was gonna die at first. I was like, oh, how? What if a monkey is the shooter? I don't know. Like,
I heard people say that too. Yes. I was like,
I had that theory initially because I was like, I don't know. Because if Guy Talk just leaves a gun everywhere, a monkey could just like. I knew that Guy Talk would be involved. I did predict that. I was like, is he gonna be the one who dies? But he has the gun. I know that Guy Talk is gonna be in this somehow, and I knew it was gonna be multiple people because it's like pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
So it wasn't one person just like shooting a bunch of people. Like I knew it was like a bunch of people involved. So I got a couple things right. I did not know who was gonna die. Yeah. But how it all went down.
Did not see that coming.
Great. Like this whole scene, I was on the edge of my seat, mouth agape, like, oh my gosh. And I mean, so at breakfast, Chelsea and Rick have a perfect breakfast. He's like, we're gonna do this forever. And then the owner, the man, Sritala's husband, sees Rick and he shows Rick a gun. He's like, how dare you come into my house? And then he says all these horrible things about his mom.
Yeah, I knew your mom was awful and she was a whore. He like goes in and Rick was like shook because he thought the monkey was off of his back, but this just like
this clown
wound him up all over again.
He's like, I gotta get to Bangkok. I gotta get to Bangkok. And it's like, bro, well, Bangkok followed you here. And it's like, well, the actions of the consequences of my actions. It's like,
shocker.
Rick, you can't just threaten the man who is rich and owns this resort and expect nothing to happen. I was just like, this man is a clown. So the fact that Rick is like, I need to see a therapist. Because I think he knew that he was spiraling and he was going to do something. And the irony, right? He was like, I feel so good. Like I did what I needed to do. And then all of a sudden the man's back and he clearly wasn't okay, because all those feelings amplified came back. Oh my gosh. And you see like the ladies and Jacqueline taking a picture with the owners and the therapist is like, Rick, I can't see you right now. What did you imagine if the therapist did see him? None of that would have happened.
Crazy. It makes me feel like I wish we knew more about Rick because I'm like, one, why does he have such a bad temper? Like, why can't he control himself?
Yeah.
How does he know how to use a gun that well? Like, first of all of a sudden he's like G.I. Joe, He's like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. I'm like, since when did he become Ethan Hunt?
Right.
Like, I was
so true.
Shook. It was like we're in an action movie all of a sudden. He like knows how to use a gun.
And he was like, I know he goes
the shield.
He gets one shot and he knocks the guy out immediately.
Yeah, and he like hits the security guards. I was like, can we get more on Rick's backstory?
People were saying that Rick is a hitman, like in a past life, right?
Literally.
And it's like, right? I agree. We didn't know much about Rick. We just knew that Rick wanted to avenge his dad.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Don't know how he and Chelsea met. Don't know
what he does for work.
What he does for work. Why he's so angry.
I know. I wish we got more about him. Absolutely. Because right, he was such a central character, and right, he was the one who ruined everything in the end.
Oh my
Why?
gosh.
Why was he so angry? Yeah. And And then Rick just runs up to the man. Literally, my friend was like, oh, Rick is about to go tackle him. I was like, no. She's like,
I thought that's what he was going to do too. But when he opened that man's coat, pulled out
so
the
crazy.
gun,
Oh my
and
God.
shot him twice.
Rick!
That was awful.
That was... I was screaming.
That was so bad. And then Shrutala's like, he's your father! He's your father!
When I tell you, I audibly gasped. I was like...
Did not see that coming.
I did not see that coming at all. And then the look on Rick's face, Rick was like... mouth agape, shocked. And... okay, my friend who I was watching it with, she was like, oh yeah, I had a feeling that was his dad. I was like, what?
I did not see that
coming. I did not see that coming at all. So what happened with Rick's dad? So he left the mom, and then the mom made this lie up to Rick, being like, oh, this guy killed your dad, da 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 da, like he's a horrible guy.
But instead, he probably just abandoned them, which was, equally as bad, probably, in her mind, and for him, just abandon your son and go to Thailand and make a new life for yourself.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, because that's kind of a horrible lie, though. Be like, oh yeah, this man killed your father.
I know, it is pretty bad.
Like, oh my, that's extreme. And now Rick has been holding this in his whole life, and he's been... I mean, it seems like that's one of the reasons why he's so angry, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the shootout was so crazy. So Rick shoots up both of the security guards.
It was so bad.
And Chelsea is caught by one of the bullets.
I knew. I didn't want to be right. But the second she was looking for Rick when he's having this moment, and she's like, Rick? And he's like, go away, go away.
Get out of here.
She doesn't, of course. She's standing by her crazy man. And he's in a shootout. She's trying to hide behind him. And of course, she gets caught in the crossfires. Giving real, like, Romeo and Juliet, star-crossed lovers, Shakespeare energy.
I know. And it's one of these things, me and my friend, we were talking, there was a lot to say about this finale. And we're just like, right, Chelsea kind of seemed like this morally good character, treats people well, is trying to help others. But it's like, why did Chelsea suffer this, death? Like, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. But it's like, Chelsea, this is what happens when you follow and try and help these, like, really horrible men, right? She was trying to see the best in Rick. She was trying to help Rick. But Rick was only bad news, treated her so poorly. And it's like, you can't save him. Because if you keep trying to save him, you're going to be the one who, is getting dragged down with him. And that's exactly what happened. So it's like a lesson, like, girl, you have to move on. Because this man is just going to drag you down. And that's exactly what happened.
I felt bad for her. But they're going to be together forever. Because Rick's upset. He's like holding Chelsea, picks her up, and starts walking away. And then all of a sudden, Gay Talk shows up. And guy shows up. And Shrutala's like, kill him! He's over there! Shoot him! And Guy Talk, it's like Rick is, his back's turned to him, and he's like holding Chelsea and walking really slow.
Where did Rick think he was going?
Rick knew he wasn't going to escape.
Rick is a fool.
It's like same thing with the Sam Rockwell plan at Shrutala's home. He did not think it through. He was not thinking 10 steps ahead. He was 10 steps back. And Guy Talk shoots Rick twice in the back. And Rick falls into the water with Chelsea
in his arms. Guy Talk. I know, and it was a really
hated that for him,
because you see Guy Talk running, and right, the whole episode before, earlier in the episode, he's trying to tell Pilek, I think, his manager, like, I can't be in this job. I don't want to do this. I'm a Buddhist. I don't want to be here. And his manager was like, stop. You're a good worker. Let's talk about this later. Cuts him off. And it's like, Guy Talk knows what he wants, right? Guy Talk knows who he is. He doesn't want to do this. But everyone, right, in his life is being like, no, be a man. Be strong. You're a good worker. Keep doing this. But it goes against his beliefs, right? He's a pacifist. And that moment where he's like, right, he's contemplating, he's like holding the gun a long time. He doesn't shoot him immediately. And Shrutala's like, shoot him. And Guy Talk finally shoots Rick. And you're just like, oh.
Girl.
Poor thing. Like, you know he did not want to do that.
Not at all. He was so upset, but not upset enough because it gave him the job that he wanted as the security detail.
I mean, right, like we talked about, the morals just dropping like flies. But, right, I know it's so interesting. I kept on thinking about this, like, oh my gosh, Guy Talk abandoned, like, his religious beliefs that are so important to him, but he got everything he wants. He got the job, he got promoted, he got Mook, right? He's looking fly with his shades, driving Sritala around in this fancy car, and it's like, what does this, right? He kills someone, he goes against his beliefs, but he's winning.
And I saw someone say they wish they saw Victoria find out she was going to be poor. And it's like,
yes,
we needed to see that. I needed on the boat all of them to get their phones,
get notifications.
Fits. Yeah.
And just, even if it was just Victoria just screaming and then it cuts, like, I just needed some kind of reaction. I definitely was like White, really? Nothing? Okay. Time for red flag, green flag. 1, 2, 3.
Time. Laura, is it a red flag to take a bribe or hush money like Belinda?
I know there's been a lot of debate about this. Is there a red flag? I think that a lot of people are being like, oh, well, Belinda taking this money is kind of, avenging Tanya. And if she didn't take the hush money, then Greg was probably going to come hunt her down, right, and kill her. So it's like, what was the morally right thing to do in Belinda's situation? Was it to... And my friend and I were saying, I guess the morally correct thing to do was, when she first saw Greg, call the police, right? Call the FBI in the States and be like, this man is here, he's hiding, come find him. Like, as we were talking it out, we're like, that is the moral thing to do. But she didn't do that, right? So now I think, I don't blame her for taking the money. I think if I were in her situation and he gives you this offer, the right and safe thing to do is to take the money. Because it's like, if you don't take the offer, then he's probably going to come for you, right? So maybe it is a red flag, but I don't blame her. I don't think it was a wrong decision, but I do think it is a red flag. Like, should she have done that? Was that the correct thing to do? Probably not. But I think it made the most sense for her situation. Is it a green flag to idealize your siblings?
No. I think in Lachlan's case, right, he took it too far. I don't think you should idolize your siblings to the point where you want to be just like them and you are changing your life. Like, you're supposed to go to college and now you want to stay in Thailand and do this program because you want to be just like your sister. But the day before, you were just trying to be just like your brother by having like protein shakes. Like, it's too much. You have to be your own person. And I do think, right, you can look up to siblings. I think that's natural and that happens a lot. I think that's just a part of life, right? You have older siblings or older friends or like mentors that you look up to. But it was unhealthy what Lachlan did. It's a big red flag. And I think in general, there should be a fine line. Like, you should value siblings and look up to them. But we shouldn't be idealizing anyone,
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think it just showed that Lachlan, yes, he was tormented and traumatized by his family, but he also just didn't have a backbone, right? So he just needed to do better, despite, all the toxicity. Okay. Overall, parting thoughts, is White Lotus season 3 a wait or a watch?
Watch.
Yes.
I think it reeled me in for 8 episodes, even though half the time there wasn't much going on. I don't know how that works, but I was seated. I was ready.
Yes. I was always looking forward to when the episodes dropped. Always. I think that this season had like peaks and valleys, right? Some of the plot holes. I wish we saw the Ratliffe reaction. I'm like, why didn't we see that? The Russians. I wish some of the storylines were more fleshed out. Rick, I feel like we know nothing about Rick, but Rick was basically the main character, right? So there were things I wish we knew more about.
On to our What to Watch segment.
Yes.
White Lotus season 4 is upon us. It has been renewed. Not a shock. And it has been rumored that the next location is going to be Mykonos, Greece.
Heyo! Classic.
So funny. I think that would be great. I will say I was kind of curious if they would do like a different like continent, you know, because they've already been in kind of Europe and the Mediterranean with Sicily.
Yeah, yeah.
And right, they did Hawaii, now Thailand. Like I was kind of curious, would they go to like somewhere in South America or the Caribbean or, you know?
Yes.
Like I was a little curious to see if they might take a different approach, but Mykonos is very trendy and on brand. So
Any predictions for cast? A lot of people, I've seen a lot of stuff on Instagram. Oh, Dream White Lotus cast.
I'm curious if some of the people who didn't die will be brought back. You know how
Right.
like Tanya was brought back and then Belinda. Like, could we see Victoria Ratliffe again? But this time she's like divorced and like, you know, trying to have
Ah.
her how Stella got her groove back moment
Yes,
without
she's like
Tim and her
solo
family.
tripping or something.
Like, how fun would that be?
Yes. I would love that. That's a great idea, right? We see, yes, she divorces her husband. She's like, I'm over Tim. Taiwan, right? Like, yes, I could definitely see her doing like maybe a girls' trip or like maybe her and Piper or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or solo. I like that idea. I would love to see Victoria again getting her groove on in Mykonos. That would be very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, or even Lori. I think people clearly love Lori. I could see her also doing. But if it's a trio of ladies again going to Mykonos?
Please. Please.
I feel like their storyline's kind of wrapped up though. Like I don't
I
feel like I
know.
need to see more of the trio.
No.
But Victoria would be like we want to see more of her,
Yeah,
right?
if
She
anything,
actually
we
has an
weren't
interesting
given like enough of Victoria. We need more
yes,
Victoria.
and she has storyline, right? Like her life is about to fall apart, so I think that would be interesting. So yeah, I like that idea. What's your season ranking?
I think 1, 3, 2. I think I know it's definitely 1, and I'm like, the thing is, the ending of season 2 was like so good and off the rails.
Yeah,
it's like I think the ending was better than the ending of season 3, but season 3 as a whole, I think, was better than season. So it's tough, but definitely 1 is still the best in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really liked season 1 was great. I did really like season 3. I think season 1 and 3 are pretty close for me, but season 2 definitely at the bottom. Yes. Well, thank y'all for listening to this episode of Sisters Who Watch. We appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed our review of The White Lotus. And if you did, please give us 5 stars. 5 stars wherever you listen. And support us on social media at Sisters Who Watch. Go to our website, sisterswhowatch.com, and buy some of our merch too.
Yes, we appreciate y'all, and we want to hear from you. Comment on our posts on social media. Spotify has a comment feature as well, and we have polls, and we want to hear what you think as well on YouTube. Let us know. Give us recommendations.
Let us know. Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Every day.
Bye. Stay watching.